Welcome back. We're the Monsters of the Morning. Dan Jiggetts, Mike North, and of course, John Crist of the Bear Report.
And why wait for an operator? Order online, save time. See, this is what Tiger should have done. Called a cab. Get yourself in a cab right around the block. Then you come back, take care of the guy, maybe throw him a little koozie from a past championship or something like that. From grocery shopping to airport rides, American Taxi covers the spectrum of transportation needs for suburban residences and businesses. No ride is too short or too long for their fleet of cabs. Check it out, American Taxi Dispatch Inc., ladies and gentlemen.
And once again, we're joined by John Crist of the...
There he is, beleaguered, exhausted.
By the way, if someone wants to order the magazine, how do they go?
Because it's got to be going like hotcakes.
Oh, yes. Hey. Adversity can be good for business.
You're darn right.
So anybody who wants subscription information, simply go to bearreport.com. You'll see our subscription page, get all the options we have available, or you can dial the phone number 888-979-0979. We have a lot to talk about this week, folks.
So I'm in Vegas, and I'm watching the game in the sports book. I'm watching the Bear-Philly game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy from Jersey who's a big Philadelphia Eagle fan.
Sure.
But, you know, they have their issue with McNabb. I go, what's your issue with McNabb? We take him in a heartbeat. They go, the issue is we have not tasted the Super Bowl yet. He was drafted to lead us to a Super Bowl. I go, well, you guys got a pretty good team.
He did lead them to one.
Yeah, but they didn't win one. They want to win one. And I said, okay, how would you like Cutler? He goes, heck. He goes, you got a guy that threw up in a huddle during a big game talking to Cutler about trying to remain calm. That's what. So basically, everybody's got their issues. Donovan McNabb can come here anytime. Would Donovan McNabb be better than this guy if he was in this offense right now? That is the question.
I think he probably would be because he's been running a West Coast-themed offense for quite some time
with lack of talent,
and he's used to these 3- and 5-step drops and quick decision-making. That wasn't the game that Jay Cutler was supposed to bring to the table. This was supposed to be a great marriage because Ron Turner's offense, he loves to throw the ball downfield. He likes to challenge downfield. He did that all the time when Bernard Berrian was in town, and you like the fact that Rex Grossman had the big downfield.
How about Aikman
saying you can't protect the guy anymore, so you can't make these throws
Aikman saying yesterday Bernard Berrian should still be a Bear. Salvo, Aikman...
With no salary cap, maybe he is.
Well, he's saying he shouldn't have left to begin with.
I'll tell you one thing. If Minnesota could unwind one deal, that'd probably be the one that they would like to unwind to give themselves a little bit more room to deal even more.
Favre says it's all his fault. He says Berrian's great. He says he's the one that hasn't been going to him.
Right. Hamstrings.
Yeah. He's got one-track star injury after another. He always had. I mean, he's a really good player, but if you go back, again, with the revisionist history, Jerry had to make a choice money-wise. He had to get Lance Briggs or Bernard Berrian. I don't think anybody wanted Bernard Berrian getting $40 million of the Bears' money, and of course you like Lance Briggs. He's the only defensive player you have right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what about the Harris Urlacher signings? They're just ladled with those. That was a bad signing from the beginning.
You know, it's not a horrible signing for Harris because if you look at the contract, he didn't get a huge chunk of change up front. I know I talked about this on your show before. Mm-hmm. Most of his money is tied to annual roster bonuses. $2.5 million this coming off season and an $8 million roster bonus the next off season. Urlacher did get all that money up front, and all he did was whine about it, and that was money poorly spent, to say the least, because I know he's hurt and it's tough to judge that now, but he did nothing to earn that money because he was coming off a couple of years when he wasn't the real Brian Urlacher.
Right.
Big picture, what do you do now with this football team?
You bring Mike Shanahan in. How come
it's going to be impossible to ignore the Shanahan talk.
But let me ask you a question. Why would you bring him in? Apparently he didn't teach Cutler anything. Got to bring in some other guys. Apparently Mike Shanahan doesn't know anything about the quarterback spot because I'm hearing now how Cutler's got to learn how to play the position.
Well, look, the Chicago Bears, now you've built your reputation on playing defense and running the football. Those days are gone. It just doesn't happen anymore. That's 21st century
You want to know
football.
something?
That is 21st century football.
Yesterday was the first time in 1,240 games in the Bears' history they didn't get a first down running. That's troublesome. I'm sorry. You got to run the football.
Do you know how many called running plays there were in the first half? 5.
How do you go 1,240 games for rushing first down, and yesterday's the first time ever?
Let's look at it this way. If you're talking about the Shanahans of the world, some people are talking about Parcells as the overall guy.
Bill Cowher's out there, too.
That will never happen.
When was the last time the Bears hired a guy as a head coach with previous head coaching experience?
Before my time.
On the NFL level.
Way before my time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Right. When was it? When was the last time?
I believe it was never.
42 years
Pretty
ago.
close. Pretty close.
Well, they rehired George Hallis after he went away to the war.
Like he rehired himself.
They rehired
That's not quite the same thing.
But I will say this. You're right, Dan. And Jerry Angelo, and he's very inept at what he does, but he doesn't want to bring in anybody that's good. Believe me, this is all on him.
Well,
this wouldn't be
the Parcells talk. Wouldn't be a Angelo decision. This would be a decision that's made up top.
Right. But doesn't somebody have to go? And didn't Jerry Angelo give himself an extension till 2013?
He's here through 2013. Yes. It's a lot easier to get rid of Lovie Smith, and even that is an 8-figure check you have to write. And I think that move could be made. I really didn't think it was going to be made 3 or 4 games ago. I said it was going to take a historic collapse down to maybe 5-11 for there to be enough pressure to get rid of Lovie. Maybe we will see.
Lovie Smith may be a Bear coach that's rehired by somebody.
Sure he will.
I think that he could.
Yes.
I think if he goes to a better organization, I think he can go. I think it's the guy upstairs that
he'll get another job.
If you look at the expense of letting go of Lovie Smith, as opposed to maybe make a decision with Jerry Angelo, what's the difference in terms of dollars?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know Jerry's number off the top of my head, but
he's making over 2.
It's a good amount of money.
Him and Ted Phillips and Lovie all got together and gave themselves extensions.
Well, the thing is, if you get rid of the general manager, you have to get rid of the head coach. Because if you bring in a new GM, he's not going to want to inherit Lovie Smith. He's going to want to bring in his own guy. So you got to write the check for Jerry Angelo. It may be 8 figures. You got to write another one for Lovie Smith. That's going to be 8 figures. You got to get a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. I know that sounds like a right idea right now after watching that 36-10 debacle. But it's not your money. It's somebody else's money, and I don't know if Little
Or it's easier to make those decisions when you're not.
See, I don't think Ron Turner. I thought last week when I watched the game, everybody in the sports book is every time Cutler overthrew somebody. I thought those plays were well called. I thought the receivers did a good job.
Too inconsistent. That's all.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I don't know who could do something with that offense right now.
Well,
who would you bring in?
With that offensive line up front, it's not happening. No. It's just not happening.
It is not happening, and it's not going to happen this season. John, thanks so much.
Thanks,
buddy. As always,
see you next week to discuss more.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Can't wait.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, though, for hour number 2, we'll discuss the latest on the Tiger Woods car accident saga and what damage could be done to his legacy.
Hey girl, what's your name? It's so loud in here.